Depression has been called the number one world health concern. In fact, depression is so widespread, it's been labeled the common cold of the psychiatric disturbances. But there is a grim difference between a common cold and depression. Depression can kill you. David D. Burns. Many collegiate students face depression or anxiety or some sort of mental disturbance at least one time or another in their collegiate journey. Looking around in your classroom, at least one of your friends has been put through depression or anxiety or some other mental disturbance. According to Sarah Lipton, who is a Boston University mental health researcher, half of students in fall 2020 were screened positive for anxiety and or depression. When she administered the test during the fall 2020 semester, she administered it through the Healthy Minds Network. The survey also revealed that 83% of students said their mental health had been negatively impacted. Had negatively impacted their academic performance within the past month. A lot of students are doing the work, not turning the work in, or feeling like they have no drive, no motivation, because normally we're going to class. We're going to class every day, at least once or twice a week. And we're being held accountable by these professors. We're being held accountable by our classmates. When we're not together, when we're not being able to group together, you feel like you don't have any drive to do anything. Due to the isolation that we're facing due to COVID-19, depression has tripled. Many collegiate students are struggling financially and may even see social media as an outlet. But social media can even bring on depression. Social media makes one believe that they are living the life they are not supposed to live. Many college students are struggling financially and may see someone else in the same boat living better and want to live vicariously through them through social media. Depressed individuals proceed and play a role in bringing about episodes of depression, whereas depressive thinking patterns have been observed with striking consistency in depressed samples, according to Miranda Gross. So, at least when you're in class, during the COVID-19, we've been isolated. We've been with our friends, our family. We haven't been with our college students, with our classmates, with our professors. So now we're as college students, we're depressed. We don't want to go to class. Even with this pandemic kind of lighting up and the vaccines are becoming more and more available, people are opting out of them. We're still scared. We're still scared to go in the classroom. We're still scared to cohabitate with our friends and family because of the scare of the pandemic. This year alone, at least 75% of our classmates are suffering from a mental disturbance. I wanted to mention that at least half of the students in 2020 screened were 75% of those were African Americans, 25% other ethnicities. She also made me mention that Facebook use, envy and depression among college students, is Facebook depressing. That was one of the articles I pulled from my research because I wanted to home in on that. So again, I say that while we're at home, a lot of us are using social media. We're a lot more prevalent. We're a lot more, we have a lot more time on our hands. So you may see someone who is in class with you normally day to day. It seems like they're jet setting all over the world. They're doing all these things that you can't even afford to do. But as we know, a lot of people come from different backgrounds, come from different financial situations. So we don't look at that. We look at what we can see virtually. So if I see, hey, Becky is flying off to Europe this week and I can't even afford a cup of ramen, that will depress me. But little do I know, their family may be paying for that trip, or she may be using that trip from her job. But we, as college students, we see the glitz and the glamour. So that could even uptick your depression. So another thing is I want to encourage our classmates from this article to kind of take a break on social media, kind of relax and just realize that we are all in this together. And that, of course, depression is something that is treatable, and you can treat it with going to the doctor, going to your therapist. I personally can use my own personal experience for this. I'm suffering from depression, have been for at least 2 years now, and I'm currently seeing a psychiatrist and a doctor for my my depression and anxiety. A lot of people choose not to because they feel as if depression and anxiety are not clinical solutions to go to the doctor, especially African Americans. We do not believe in going to a therapist. We do not believe in going to get medication for a mental disturbance. But mental disturbances are just as severe, just as important as you breaking your leg outside on the curb playing basketball. You want to get these things treated because you want to make sure that you're living a healthy and productive life. I am one of those students that when depression is at its utmost, it's just all-time high, I can hardly feel myself getting out of bed in the morning. Or if I do something as far as like my schoolwork, I just don't have the drive to turn it in. So I'm encouraging all of my fellow classmates to get out there and do your research, do your homework on depression and anxiety. Make sure that you understand and know the signs so that you can watch out for your friends and your family and make sure they get the treatment that they need if you see them presenting these signs. Depression is nothing to be scared about, nothing to criticize someone about. It's something that we can treat, and it's something that is so real. You do not want your friends to feel like their depression is nothing, and then you wake up the next morning and they're not there, and you could have helped. So I definitely want to encourage all of our classmates to go out there if you feel like this, just even if it's just right now during this pandemic, like depression has been so much for you. Definitely use the university's resources. They do have counselors. They do have psychiatrists on staff here to help us. So definitely get out and see what those resources are. Even if you don't want to use them, just go out there and meet them and see. Counseling always works. So in conclusion, I would like to say that collegiate students are facing more and more depression, especially with us being at home for the pandemic, having to basically relocate. If we were staying on housing in the campus with our friends, we're relocating back to maybe aggressive households, maybe households that are not financially stable. So definitely we want to make sure that our generation is seeking the help that they need. Depression is so serious. We do not want to treat it like a common cold or just a regular disturbance. It is something that will put your friends in the ground. Thank you. So now I want to take the time out to kind of just introduce my audience. I have my mom, my dad, and my husband. So thank you guys. Let me know what I did well. Let me know what I didn't do. I hope that you were able to pull something from this speech, and definitely get out there and see what's going on with the campus and take advantage of these resources. Thank you.